Okay, in this video, I want to show you how to solve absolute value inequalities. Okay, let's first consider this simple inequality. So here we have the absolute value of x less than 5. The best way for you to solve this problem is to use a number line and use the geometric meaning of the absolute value, because we know the geometric interpretation of the absolute value of x is this is the distance of x from 0. Again, the absolute value gave us the distance from this number to 0. Okay, so now if this distance is less than 5, then you think about on this number 9, where x could be. Well, x cannot be anywhere greater than 5, right? Because if x are somewhere over here, and then when you consider the distance from this number to 0, that distance must be greater than 5. So here x must be less than 5, and also x must be greater than negative 5, right? Because if x is less than negative 5, for example negative 6, and then you consider what is the distance from negative 6 to 0, that distance gonna be 6, which will be greater than 5, right? So x can only be numbers between negative 5 and 5. So therefore, the solution of this inequality from this graph is between negative 5 and positive 5. And since we don't have equal sign, so x cannot be equal to 5, right? So we put a parenthesis. Okay, all right. After we understand this, let's take a look at another example. Now, here we have 2x. The absolute value of 2x is less than or equal to 6. So this time we consider the distance from this number, from 2x from 0. The distance of 2x between 2x and 0, and this distance is less than or equal to 6. So we think about where 2x could be, right? So 2x can only be less than 6, right? And 2x can only be greater than negative 6. So 2x can only be between negative 6 and positive 6, right? Okay. So we rewrite this absolute value inequality into this inequality. And in the previous class, we learned how to solve this inequality, right? To solve for x, we divide it by 2 on both sides. So x is greater than negative 3 and less than 3. So the interval notation is from negative 3 to positive 3. Okay, what about this one? So now the absolute value of 5x minus 1 is less than 7. So this whole number, right? This number is we wanted the distance from this number to 0 must be less than 7. So this number has to be somewhere over here, and somewhere over here, right? This number cannot be greater than 7. Cannot be greater than 7. Otherwise, if the distance from this number to 0, this number will be bigger than 7, right? And this number cannot be smaller than -7, because in that case the distance gonna be bigger than 7, right? So the number must be between -7 and +7. And next, to solve this inequality, we add 1 on each side. Okay, and then we divide it by 5. And make sure, okay, be careful, double check if the number you divided by if it's a negative number. Because if it's a negative number, after you do the calculation, you must swap the sign. So here, since we are dividing by a positive number, we don't have to worry about this. Okay, so the solution to this absolute value inequality is x is from -6/5 to 8/5. Okay, now let me generalize this idea. So when we are solving for this, absolute value inequality, and k is remember, this is a very important. K is a positive number, positive real number. This inequality is equivalent to the inequality ax plus b is greater than -k and is less than k. And here, remember, k must be a positive real number.